I wish things could have been better. I wish I could have had the chance to say bye. I wish talk to him more. I get really beat up thinking about it. Never go to bed angry at your husband, your wife, your partner, because improving and looking at how you can get as wide as possible while keeping your waist as tight as possible has been an approach for me over the years. Try to be as transparent and honest as possible. I think that mix of tests a week and units of GH a day, that's a sweet spot. But when I did start to put on a shit ton of size over the past 2 years, it's been different. The quality and the amount. 2 full back sessions a week, 4 exercises. So 4 on one day, 4 on another day. Then pretty much consistently, I only train legs once a week, but I do a little bit of hamstring work on one of the back days. A lot of it I've learned from RP, Nick Loft, from Charlie, Charlatan here, trained by JP, John Jewett.
What did you do to create the shape that you have now? What do you feel like the state of your physique was before that accident? What was your experience as a kid? Like what did you do during hockey? What was the extent of your training at the time?
Yeah, I was more of an athletic build, but I did start to do more of the compound weight training, you know, those that are in strength conditioning that have a pretty good understanding of just like what that style of training looks like. A lot of it's like upper lower type of splits that these strength conditioning coaches will write up. You know, sometimes maybe like, you know, 3 full body sessions a week for like power output or strength or, you know, so really, you know, you might have like a, you know, it's different. You put your compound movement in the beginning, then you might have like another 1 or 2, and then like a superset of some type of thing. But I would say I had a pretty good athletic look to me, you know, think of an athlete, right? And I wasn't like, as a goalie, you're kind of to paint the picture though. As a goalie, you're not the biggest on the team because you're a goalie. Like you don't need to be the strongest per se, right? Compared to maybe a defenseman who's doing back checking or checking someone, blocking someone, or a forward, you know, even though they might need to be quicker, you know, goalie, it needs to be pretty quick. You know, I was pretty quick, but I also had this ability to put on some tissue. So I definitely was a bigger goaltender and was more developed. And I did take my strength conditioning very seriously because I didn't have a lot of money and hockey's real pricey. So I was working summers, even underage. Like my dad would find me these little gigs and stuff like that. And I would help my parents pay for hockey because hockey is a freaking pricey sport. So all the kids on my team were these rich, snobby, you know, freaking kids. And mom and dad paid the bills, paid for the sports. They didn't really work hard. So like in strength conditioning and off ice, it's like, why is the goalie the hardest working, strongest one? It's like, it's because he was determined and he came from that background. And that background gave me a look of my physique from that young age of like, wow, this kid looks better than maybe some other people that should look better in a sense, even though that's not really the goal, right? The goal is not the look, it's performance on the ice. However, I had that look from how I trained. And, you know, diet wise, like, you know, back then, man, you know, like we had a general understanding of what like decent eating was like. But like as a kid, you know, playing sports, you're just pounding food because you're burning through it a lot. So like I was eating, honestly, like whatever. But like when I say that, like I was never like a too shitty of an eater, you know what I mean? But like I just would eat a shit ton of food, you know, and we got some guidance from our strength conditioning coaches on how much to eat and whatnot and whatnot. We try to follow it, but it's nothing like, you know, it's nothing like what we do as bodybuilders. Like bodybuilding is probably the truest 24/7, 365 thing I've ever done in my whole life. More than any sport that I've played or any sport I can think of. I think that bodybuilding truly is that. But hockey developed that like grit for me and developed that like what I learned from hockey, I think is very valuable because what I kind of told you about like the lack of effort from your teammates, it got me thinking more and more about like, I need to be on a sport where like the team is limited or it's just me. Now I will say if, you know, and I, you know, what's cool is like, I feel like we know each other, but like, you know, not too adeptly, but like I have a really close, tight unit of people that is my team here. You know what I mean? I could not do it without them. No fucking way. No way I'd be ninth in the world, winning the shows I am. I'd be in the situation that I am. What I will say though is I also am here, and I can acknowledge this now because I've worked my ass off to get here. So it's a little bit, what I've learned is you cannot do it by yourself, but like you need to think like it is just me. I do have my wife, I have my coach. I'm with the same coach since I started. I'm with the same coach for 9.5, not almost 9.5 years. You know what I mean? So I've been with the same coach for 9.5 years.
Who's your coach?
My coach is Dan Hahn.
Okay.
He's not a big name guy. He is originally from New Jersey, lives in North Carolina now. Actually, he owns a gym out there called Iron Lair. So I want to give a shout out to the gym because it's dope as shit. It's really, really dope. If anyone's around that area, go check it out. I was actually just there for a pro seminar with like the Carolina MPC kind of district. That was a fun event. But yeah, I've been with him for about 9.5 years. And I talk about my team, like I couldn't do it without them, but they also know that like Justin's not slipping up.
Yeah.
Justin's not slipping up. He's not missing meals. He is not slipping up. Like, so I'm very, very, very blessed and honored to have my army that I do to kind of continue to rise to the top. I believe I have a very powerful unit of people right here. I'm blessed.
Yeah. How tall are you?
I am officially, according to my IFBB membership, I am actually, what am I officially? I'm 5'11" and 3/8, I think. I think that's what it has me at. It's up to and including 6 foot, you can be 227, and then up to including 6'1". So like if you are just over 6 foot, you could be 235. I am under 6 foot. I'm 6 foot or under, so I have to be 227. If you are 5'11", if you're 5'11" on the dot, you cannot be 227. You have to be 219. But if you're 5'11" and 1/16, you can be 227. So that's a matter of 8 pounds by 1/16 of an inch. So I'm almost 5'11 and a half. So I'm right in the middle. So like I'm clearly 227, right in the middle. You know what I mean? Like there's no way I'm going to get to 235 if I try to get taller, and there's no way I'm going to shrink to below 227,
So mine is 5'7.5", which basically puts me at up to and including 5'8", which is 197 pounds for my weight cap, which still makes sense. So even if I come in at a 1/4 inch shorter than I normally am, I'm still technically in that.
How many
I'm always 5'7.5". Pro shows and classic, I've done 3 shows, which was all in this last season.
I think they're going to start to take your height after a certain amount of shows moving forward, like they said they were, because they just announced, if you got that email, that I don't know if anyone knows this, like everything is set. So like, at least the guys who did the Olympia last year, like our heights are set for our lives. They are posted. I know this because when I logged into our membership, it never had our height before, but now it has our height pasted into our profile with all the other information that we are able to edit, like our phone number, our address, shit like that, right? But we can't edit what they put as our height, after the Olympia. So I don't know if it's like when you finally do the Olympia, they take your height, or if it's 3 shows leading up to that, or if it's 3 shows every year, or what it is. But I know that like once it's going to be set for people, you know what I mean? So you'll know. And I think that's awesome, to be honest with you, because there is a difference between when some shows want to check you in at 8 a.m. and some shows want to check you in at 7 p.m. You can literally shrink a 1/2 inch and have to drop 8 pounds. Like it's possible. Like literally, if let's say your morning height, good examples, let's say 5, let's say you're 6 foot, or you're 6 and a quarter, right? You're 6'1/4", and you can fluctuate 1/2 inch throughout the day, losing water, walking, your spinal pressure, right? Let's say by 7, 8 o'clock at night, you're under 6 foot and you have to check in. So you were in the morning, you were over 6 foot. You would have been able to be 235. Now at 7 o'clock, you're under 6 foot. You gotta be 227. Like what? That's not fair, right? Because some show wants to have it at this time, some wants to have it that time. So it's just better to make it consistent for the athletes because then you get into dangerous situations. So I think this is one of the best calls is to be able to lock in heights for us and just say like, this is it for your life. You always have to make this weight, for as long as you compete in this division,
Yeah. I think it's helpful too. Obviously, because everyone's so obsessed with height and the small controversies recently. I just think it's a little silly. But
Yeah.
anyways, all right, cool. What's up, homies? I'm back at my new place now in Vegas, and we just came out with some new shirts for the Transparent merch. None of the basic shit. Now we got some new sick styles, a little bit of a metal and rock inspired, some other shit, and then also a bunch of new colors. So you guys want to check that out on the site? That's www.icons, spelled AYKONS, icons.com/Nile. That'll automatically apply the Nile discount code and get you right to the site where we have the new designs up. And some of the stuff like the cutoff are 380 GSM French terry cotton. So pretty high quality stuff that were helped design by my boy Dion, one of my best friends in the world. This is the guy that he and I went through a lot in life in the last decade as our best friend Ryan passed away. And I'm really happy that I got to do this with him. But anyways, this is out. So if you guys ever need anything or you have any complaints, I'm fucking here. Just let me know. Let's ride this shit out and grab life by the balls, baby. Peace. Well, you look 6 foot to me, so
yeah.
Everyone taller than me looks 6 foot to me.
I shrink a little bit as I get leaner the last little bit. So
isn't that weird, man?
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah.
I'm
I'm back squatting, so I'm hoping I got a little bit back to me. But I think the back squat maybe put a little bit took a little bit off me.
Yeah, me too.
So
Me too. I back squat like crazy, so that's why I'm short. Actually, I would have been 6 foot.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. Maybe pull them back to just machine squats will help play back.
What was home and family life like as a kid?
Yeah. So, wow, this is cool. Okay, I can go back. So, I grew up and I still live here in New Jersey. I'm an East Coast kid. So I got the East Coast grit. We're very prideful over here. It's the tri-state area. But my mother, Christina, my father, Joseph, they had me back in 1996. I'll be 30 years old this year. So I'm 29 now. I have one brother, one older brother, one younger sister. And then eventually in the future, my dad had remarried and I have a half brother, my little brother, Matthew. So I have three siblings.
Your big brother, Cbum?
Same. What was that?
What? I said
I
your big brother, Cbum.
It's my bad. I get a lot of, obviously, I mean, it's very known I get compared with Bumstead. And by the way, I want to put this out there because some people come at me for this. I never start the Cbum comparison. Number one. Never did. Number two.
I'm surprised people even come after you. I've never heard you say that. Yeah, they're like, either.
Oh, this guy's nothing like him. He shouldn't be comparing himself to him, putting pictures. I never even put a picture. I never even put a picture side by side next to him. Other people do that. Two, there's no one like him, for us and for our division. Like I will never replace him. No one will ever replace him. He's one of a kind. And three, it's an honor to be compared to the greatest in our division to have done it and one of the greatest in our sports. Like very, what an honor it is and very humbling to be compared to someone like him. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like it's daunting for you?
No, because I'm me. like it's cool. It's an honor. Like if people compare someone to Arnold, like you're never gonna be Arnold. Like like it's cool, and people compare me to Cbum. It's cool, but like if I do or don't fill those footsteps or those expectations, like who cares?
Yeah.
Like it said, I don't let it. That is actually the one thing I've never let impact me is the comparisons with Bumstead, because like I truly view him as like one of the greatest, and like I'm a fan, and my goal is not to beat him, it's to be the best me. Like
Yeah.
there's other competitors I'm going up against now who I want to beat because I want to be the best, and if Bumstead was currently competing, I would want to beat him because I want to be the best. That's why I'm
Yeah.
doing this. What else? What
Right.
other reason? I got a lot of I didn't get a lot of this, but like I was on another podcast not too long ago, and I put out like some comments that I just like finally believed in myself. That like, hey, like maybe I could like move my way up more. Like I'm ninth in the world. Like okay, like what's 8 spots? I've already gotten here, right? Like what's so wrong with me to think like, hey, like maybe I could be the best. Maybe I could be the greatest. Maybe I could be one of the greatest. Like what's wrong with thinking that way? What's wrong with like finally believing in myself, So like and everyone should. Everyone who I'm competing against, everyone in that top 10, top 15, top 20, like they're all phenomenal athletes. Like they all should think they're capable of being the best. So like I'm obviously going to think that I can beat and beat everyone, but it's because I want to just continue to be the best version of myself. I have an image of what I see for myself that I'm working towards. I've been working towards, and I know that if I achieve it, it's going to be a crazy physique that I don't think that people will be able to touch. I'm that confident in the vision I have, and I finally, after all these years, I finally believe in myself. It hasn't always been this way. I've been very dark. I've been very like, I'm a very dark person, very dark thoughts. When my dad died back in 2019 before I got my pro card, and like that like did something to me, and like lack of confidence, like just like to this day, it still kind of impacts me, and just like there's been a lot that's
Wait,
happened.
how so?
What was
Like,
that?
how so? If you don't mind me
My
asking, what
pops?
happened?
Yeah. He was under for a shoulder cleanup. So he had back in 2019, he had a full shoulder replacement in January. It was successful. Um, over the next couple weeks, it kind of had some infection to it. And the doctor was viewing it and was like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's going to clean up. Oh, it's nothing." So and then eventually, like, and it didn't go septic. It didn't spread, but it was localized enough where, like, after about 3.5 weeks, the doctor was like, "Yeah, it's not getting better. We probably should operate and clean it up." So they put him under again the next day. They cleaned it up. It was successful, but as they were kind of finishing up the surgery, he went, died on the operating table. So yeah, so 2 shoulder surgeries, like back to back. One was a full shoulder replacement, and then the other was just a cleanup back in February
Did
of
they have?
2019.
I feel like this is a tough thing for me to bring up, but if you don't mind me asking, if did they happen to communicate with you in any kind of sense that made you feel like, oh, that makes sense, or did it leave you feeling like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck happened? Like you said, this was successful.
Yeah, like all of us. It's okay that you bring that up. We definitely, because when this stuff happens, for those that don't know that aren't, and I really hope that people like don't have to kind of deal with this close and personal, but like like the hospitals, like they just try to make it quick. Like they try to quickly have their what's the person called it, uh, like autopsy, like they try to move very quickly. So you feel like they don't care. It's rushed. They say this is what happened. They're so sorry. That's like, how the fuck? Sorry about my amount of cursing here. Like, how the fuck does this happen? Like second show, like it's a cleanup. Like you're telling me my dad just like flatline, bop dead. What do you mean? So and like my grandparents are like Italian, Croatian, very strong. So they're, you know, going off in the hospital. My dad's parents, right? Like my grandparents, his parents are still alive, you know, like everyone's like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that's kind of your thoughts. But then after a couple weeks, I think, and autopsy, then have a private one, stuff like that, it kind of came to the conclusion that my dad's heart did just happen to like code and flatline, and they think it might have been like, you know, maybe two surgeries too soon. No, like he was 53 years old, so maybe the anesthesia put him under 2 times within a month might have been a little too much for him. So that is, yeah, that's what happened. So that definitely was like very sudden, right? Like, and just being truthful and transparent. Like, I want to share this, you know, like live here. And like, it's not like hidden. Like it's just personal. I'm sure it's personal to me and the people who like know. Like my dad and I weren't like on the best of terms when he was, you know, kind of going out. It's not that like things were brutal at all. It's just like, I wish things could have been better. I wish I could have had the chance to say bye. I wish I could have like talked to him more, you know, like I get like really, you know, beat up thinking about it. And I think that that's something that like, that's something that I live with very regularly, is the fact that like I'll never get that chance again, right? So it's like when I tell people, you know, never go to bed, you know, angry at your husband, your wife, your partner, your people close to you, you know, tell them you love them, you know, because that you know, that regret and that like that negative feeling is something that I've had to deal with for a long time, and I continue to. And it wasn't until recently where things started to get a little bit more clear for me mentally, and I was able to kind of like talk things through. But yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, a little tough topic. You know, so I miss him like fucking hell. You know, I got a little bit of his ashes right here. He didn't want to be buried. He wanted to be cremated. And then he's got some like, he's me and my siblings laugh because like my dad had some like weird wishes with his ashes. So like each of us have like a little bit of his ashes. Then we have like a big urn with his ashes, and he wants us to spread them in certain spots. And we know what they are, and we have them saved, and we don't know when this is going to happen. For some of them, there's like 2 of them that's just like, dude, one of them, pretty much 2 of them are like illegal. And if we get caught, it's like, Dad, bro, like, you want us to go to jail for you spreading your ashes in these places, right? But like we have them, and you know, it's just it's cool. I got to actually. It's funny. You got a bunch of tattoos. You know, tattoos got meaning. I got some too. This tattoo right here is our lucky number 32. You know, I always have it right here with me. A fun fact, I actually just got this feather on Saturday for my buddy who's paralyzed. We got some matching tats for him. This is one that he had, and basically he was like, I'm getting a new tattoo. You can get something that I have, or get the new piece that I'm getting. And he had a feather, and I was like, let me get a feather for him. So kind of put that here for him as well. So yeah, just a little bit of, you know, like that on that. It's like, you know, homage to these people. My buddy Drew, he dove off a dock actually a month before the Olympia, my first Olympia 2024, and full paralyzed himself. So, yeah, shout out to Drew. You're my man. Love you, buddy. He's a shit. We were actually at the Sixers game the other night. We had box seat tickets. Our one friend's company like donated suite tickets, so like he could go, and like we could all kind of be there. They got the shit kicked out of them against Oklahoma. Shit kicked out of them. But yeah, sorry, I went like really dark and deep and started talking about ball and stuff. But,
Bro, you have nothing to apologize, man.
yeah, a lot without God. You know what I mean? Definitely like a lot that's, sorry to cut you off, just a lot that's kind of, you know, a lot there with that.
Yeah. It's I think it's a hard thing that sometimes some of us never really know how to deal with. When I think as you grow older, I think you have more realizations, because some of these things sometimes just keep happening, that anything at any point can ever happen. And I had a similar situation when my best friend Ryan and my best friend Nick both passed away 1 year after the other, that I think I felt guilty for not having presence. Especially when Ryan was around. Like, we were living together when he passed away, and I feel like
Bro,
a lot of the moments I was so obsessed with my own growth and this anxiety that, what if my savings, what if my livelihood, what if my career here in bodybuilding and content, what if this all falls apart because it's none of it, it feels less, it feels less stable than when I was an engineer. It feels, everything felt just like, I was just like shooting darts at the dark, just hoping things would keep hitting, and maybe I'll just keep going, or maybe it won't. I have no clue. But it was so focused, so me being focused on myself, that I realized, I think all the moments that he was there for me, I never felt like I got to give back. So maybe it
tough
was
to
a
live with.
lesson.
It's like, you know, yeah, it's a lesson, but it's like, even as sorry as you are, it can never make you feel better, especially if you're the type of person that, like, the only way to make it feel better is to make it better. A good example is like my wife always yells at me when I kind of get in my head if I have like a nag going on, like I feel something in my trap or my knee or my pack or whatever it is, right? I get so, you know, so freaking just like in my head about it, right? In my um like so consumed, you know, and she'll have to, like, you know, pull me out of this place, you know, of this like, you have to realize like you can't let those things like you can't let them drag you so far down, because that's what I did. That's what I did up until recently. And then like you had to take a step back, kind of evaluate the situation and be like, you know, and try to remember times that you do remember being grateful and present. Or like try, you know what I mean? Like try to remember, like, don't beat yourself up so hard, because I've had to like really try to reframe that. You know what I mean? Because it's
Hmm.
like, you're right. Like, you're the one living and has to deal with it. You know, so it's like,
I truly believe that these people stay with us, though, and it's in our power to continue and do the things that we wish that we did for others
you a sign
in their
guy,
name. You know what I mean? What's up?
you a sign guy, like as in
Yeah,
like you believe in seeing signs, you believe in
yeah.
like so so okay. There's first off, I see the number 32 like everywhere.
Hmm.
Everywhere. Like when I eat it. Not just like at random, like when I'm thinking something negative, I like look and it's there. And
Hmm.
I'm like, it's okay. I get calm. I see the number and I get calm. I think of my dad. We me and my wife, after the Olympia, about like a week after, I really, really wanted some freaking apples, bro. And it's apple season here for some apples in Jersey, right? So we're apple picking. So we went to a local farmer's market and took the hay right out, whatnot. But in the shop there, we were walking, and there was a section for like green, not green apples. That was later. Like red, what are the red cardinals that resemble like, you know, something that's passed away, right? We saw a bunch of stuff in this one section that made me really think about my dad. So then we took the hayride out to the field, and I told my wife, I love Granny Smith apples. I'm a Granny Smith apple guy. Like, that's my go-to apple. Love a good fucking green sour apple. You know, I like pink ladies too. They're okay. But like those like red, like kind of meh, no, Granny Smiths. But anyway, we're walking down the thing, and there's like 50, 60 different like apple stalks, and they're all numbered. Of course, bro. The Granny Smith one was number 32. That was just my favorite apple. Of course, it was stalk number 32. And it was just like kind of like all just kind of like these little signs of like, hey, what's up, Pops? You know, how are you doing? You know, so yeah, little cool things that pop up and make you kind of smile and get through the day. You know.
I don't mean to bring this up, but I'm just gonna say this real quick, just because it was on my mind. But I don't know if you're religious or not. But I grew up with almost a small grudge against the church because I grew up Catholic. But the way that I had been raised with my family was in a way that, and I don't put blame on. I don't want to put blame on anyone. It's just how the situation was and how I reacted to it and how I felt about it. But just had me growing up very suicidal for a majority of my life. And I feel like training is one of the biggest things that saved me. But I think when Ryan passed away, I think that was the closest thing that I could ever find to a real life version of exactly how Jesus was. And I think through that, I realized, you know, everybody has their own interpretation of their meaning of life, where their close people go, whether or not they align themselves with a religion or not, even though I believe a lot of these religions all have very purposeful, meaningful, and real, true things. But in the end, I just realized, like, man, if there's anyone that really affected my life in a positive way, it was the fact that Ryan was always there for me and for everybody else at the expense of himself and his own time when he had nothing, and was just as forgiving and accepting for whoever kind of person you were. You know, made friends with people in jail, made friends with people that were homeless. I remember him meeting a guy that was homeless that he recognized from his prison. It was kind of insane. They had this whole conversation for like an hour on the street, and we were just like hanging out there in San Diego. And I'm just like, dude, if I, like, he went through more shit than I did. Like, he watched his mom get shot and killed when he was 7. His dad committed suicide when he was 18, but his dad was never really in the picture. And there's a lot more to the story. That's like fucking 5% of his story, honestly, if not 1. And he was way better of a human being than I was. So I look at these opportunities, you know, even though they are really painful, I think these really show us that if there's anything that can make us better people, it's the people that have come into our lives and affected us. I think that's the best way we can honor them.
But I also think that you could say that your version of Jesus is, like you said, like through your friend, like you said, like that's what I think you just kind of said that before you kind of talked a little bit more about, you know, him was like, that is, he was that to you. Right? Is that kind of what you said? Like he was like Jesus to you in a sense? Or were you saying like, he was like your, like going back to religion made you feel comfort in what happened to your friend again? Is that what you're?
I believe it's hard for people to believe in something if they can't really feel it. If that makes sense. And at that point in life, I think life had screamed at me that this was it, if that makes sense. I don't think I've ever felt anything more real in my life when he passed away.
It made you feel more connected with religion and Jesus being real.
I think him passing away made me more connected with the fact that there's meaning in life, and that if there's someone that I want to act like, it's going to be Ryan. It's going to be the stories about Jesus, whatever he did. You know what I mean?
I think Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is like I don't.
It's a collaborative.
I don't. The
viewpoint,
yeah.
thoughts,
Right.
opinions,
Right.
mindsets, ideologies, and I think that is the icing on the cake with it. Right? Is in this thing called life. Sure, we all have maybe a religion, maybe some don't believe. Right? Like I'd say I'm religious to a degree. Right? I wouldn't say
Yeah.
I fully invested as some folks are, but definitely a lot more than others. I don't believe in nothing. I do believe that there, I think that what I have noticed is believers of religion tend to be very similar. And what I mean by that is they're very kind and nice to people, treat other neighbors with respect. Whether you are, this religion or that religion, at least in my area, people are pretty respectful because the values, family, church, God, good, righteous, it's all the same. So I think that that's kind of like then point is as you grow in life, you kind of, if you never, like, I grew up Catholic. I grew up in Catholic church. But if you aren't so connected or tied to one denomination or one religion, you kind of, I don't know how this sounds, but you kind of create your own as you grow and you have your own family, your own viewpoints, your own values, your own morals, how you treat people, what like, and I don't dare I say like what you think is right or wrong, right? But like to me, I don't think it's right to go punch someone in the face. I don't think I should just walk outside and go do that. So like, I think I'm a good person for not doing that. I believe that like, that is more right thing to do in religion is not go do that. So I know that a value that I believe in is correct there, not to just go harm someone. So, hopefully us as society and societal whole, we get better understanding what it just is to be good people and have values and believe in something that's higher and right and being, it's just like, I think that like faithful people and believing in some type of higher power entity grounds you more.
Yeah.
It does. I think that it's helped ground me a lot when I viewed it that way and didn't get so fixed or locked into like, because there's some things just like, and not to go here, but like politics. There might be some things in your party that you agree with. There might be some that you disagree with. There might be some of the other that you agree with that you disagree with. There might be some in the religion you agree with, you disagree with. There might be something your coach does that you agree with, you disagree. Like, it's just how life is, right? You know what I mean? So like, you kind of curate your own as you kind of blossom and grow into the flower that you're meant to be. That's my little feel.
Yeah. I'm glad that you feel like I'm glad you feel that positivity about people that are religious, though, because I think there's a lot of people that don't feel that way or haven't had that experience. And I think,
yeah. Listen, I'm the type of guy who's just like, don't preach your stuff on me nonstop. Inform me who you are and what you're about, because I love authenticity and I love to see the differences. I think that's what's beautiful about this world. I think that's what's beautiful is that we're all different. We all have different viewpoints, opinions. I'm very like, don't hurt people. Don't go physically harm people. Try to do people right. Like, I don't understand why in today's day and age it's that hard to like just be a good person and understand like what's right or wrong. But to me, it's pretty common sense.
yeah,
I don't know. Like, that's how I think. I'm very like sure, nothing's always black and white, but some things are black and white. It's like, again, I go back to the comment of like, if I go walk outside right now and I see someone, like, sure, I don't have to say hi, but like, hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Good, thank you.
yeah.
Just pot. It's
Right,
like,
right.
Do what you think. You know what I mean? Like, that's the value of my wife always makes fun of me. She says, say hi to everyone. You hold the door for everyone. And when people don't say, I'm the type of dude too, though. I get pretty spiteful. I'll hold the door for you. And if you don't say thank you, I'll say you're welcome, even if you didn't say thank you. So you hear it and you look at me funny. And you're like, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. I held that door for you. You're welcome. Have a good day. Piss off.
Piss off.
So
You're from Jersey, right?
I am from Jersey, born
Yeah,
and
makes
raised.
sense.
Yes,
Fire.
sir. Yes.
I think it's a very
Yes,
natural.
yes.
I think it's a very natural and common phenomenon that with force comes retaliation. If you had to choose something, what do you feel like is your biggest driving force to be so obsessive with your goals, be so obsessive with bodybuilding, be so meticulous with the things you do? Like, what is it that drives you?
I think it's changed a lot. You know what I mean? Like, or the end goal has always been the same, but the reasoning and the rationale behind it, right? Um, I think for me, my driving force right this second, and it has gone through different stages, but right this second, it is to be the best in the world. Right this second. And why I say it's changed, because people will be like, why has that changed? In the past, there were times in my career where I maybe didn't think I could be the best in the world. And I said, I'm going to try to maybe make more money in this thing. That's my current goal. I'm going to compete, not compete to make more money. Listen, I love competing, but like back in 2023, when I was getting into software sales and I was bouncing around with jobs, and I was like, okay, I'm not a top Olympian. I haven't won a show yet. Like, I need to make money. So like, how can I leverage my physique? How can I leverage my coaching? What can I do to make more money? So like my goal and my drive was like financial stability to maybe be able to do this more and whatnot. And then as I got into, 2025, in May of 2025, and some new sponsor opportunities and some the ability to leave my corporate job to just do coaching, and I do coaching and posing as well as, I'm sponsored by a few different companies, HD, Tier. I'm sponsored by Vivo Health Solutions. They're my hormone, TRT peptide sponsor, Clean Plate for my food, Liquid Sunrays. I think I included everyone. That's my plug. And did I include everyone? HD, Tier, Plate, Liquid Sunrays. Also, Viva. Yeah, I include everyone. Cool. Okay. Yeah, those things really started to help out, right? And like, where now and then last year, like getting a first call out at Olympia, and then, like, yeah, I'm prejudging my physique kind of faded a little bit. A lot of people asked about that. I didn't eat enough food. I think I started kind of like flatten out. So I kind of started to look a little fadey. So I kind of slipped a little bit, because I think in the first call out when we first went on, I was pushing 5'6". They had me right there in that first call out, the very first call out to, you know, being compared with the top 5 and 6. And then they pulled a second, they moved to Bola, and they moved me out, and then kind of like, started to fade from there a little bit. But this past year, one hurricane after, right? Like that's where, we met at the Olympia, right? But obviously I don't know if people know this, like we did a show together, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's like my worst fucking show ever too.
And at least we had chocolate bars backstage together. That was
sick.
Emotional. Yeah,
that was very emotional.
They were really good. They were really good. James English, I think, gave it to us. He had those, right?
Yeah, he's got a good reel of us looking cracked out.
Yeah, it was really, really good. But after that, that I was like, why should I not like believe in myself to be that like I could, like, and I know, like when I say that, people say, oh no, you need to do this, you need to improve that, you need to, like I ignore all of it because I know these things, and I'm just staying in my lane. Like I think one of the accounts put out something last night about how I could be a contender for, top 5 this year. And the comments are like, not this year. He's not conditioned enough. his back is still soft, his this is this, his this is that. It's like, I just, do my thing, stay in my lane. You know what I mean? Like, just keep working hard. I believe in myself. And like, if I do well, I proved myself right. If I don't do well, at least I know I gave it my all and I can continue to improve. And people, what are they going to say? Well, you didn't do it. Yep, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That's okay. We come back and we get better and we continue to learn. And I love the sport. That's why I do this. So I keep my mindset positive with that. Right now, again, my mindset is like, I can be the best. And like, that's how, like, there are some very big personal life things too, though. So like, like financial stability is another thing, right? Like, I'm married, actually my 1-year wedding anniversary is coming up April.
Congrats.
So that's awesome. Yep. Thank you very
I'll
much.
get there someday.
Yeah, you will, brother. Yeah, you will. You'll find the one for you. Don't worry. But April 12th is our wedding anniversary. So there's that coming up, looking for, like homes in Jersey, bro. The state is tough to live in here, so things are more pricey. Where are you at? You're Vegas?
I'm in Vegas now, yeah.
Is it probably like okay out there? I heard it's like okay. It's like fair, like it's Jersey's pricey. Jersey's like very pricey, bro. Yeah, it's a tough state to live in. No doubt.
That's kind of surprising.
Well, I mean, we're right near New York, bro. And we're one of the most densely populated states. I don't know if you know that. So like, technically per square foot, Jersey is the densest. So like, we're just flooded with people here. It's I want to move. Me and my wife went to Virginia for New Year's. We got a cabin January 1st to like the 5th or 6th, I think it was. We brought our dogs out there and like we were literally on this cabin in this mountain in Virginia. If anyone's ever heard of Shenandoah Valley, you were near that area. Beautiful. And it was one of the greatest things ever. No one was out there, barely any people. It's really cool. So it takes me like 20 minutes to get to one of the gyms I go to here in Jersey. Mm-hmm. And it took about 20 minutes to get to the gym there because I was still training out there when we were there. But like the 20 minutes here is over 5 miles. The 20 minutes there is 20 miles. So it just feels like so long to get places, even though it's the same time because you're traveling more distance.
Yeah.
It's the same time. It's just like one, like you can only go 30 miles an hour. The other, you can go 60 and you're just freaking, you know what I mean? So it's just,
right.
It was funny that like, it felt like very long drives for the same 20 minutes, just because of how many miles you were covering in that time.
Yeah, for sure. Reminds me of living in LA, honestly.
Yeah.
Compact. Honestly, we could list out a long list of all the peptides that have helped us. You guys have heard these peptides and these research chems in the podcast maybe a million times. Peptides I've used from APR such as BPC 157 and TP500 for soft tissue healing, retatrutide and other GLPs, mitochondrial support such as SS31, MOTC, 5-amino-1Q, methylene blue, SLU. There's a bunch of others. Obviously, the list goes on and on. One of my favorite things, though, that I've been utilizing, such as during my last prep, that has allowed my blood work to come basically pristine, aside from slightly elevated liver enzymes at about 60 and 130 1 week after the show. And this is after a leg day because my dumbass doesn't want to skip a training day. These are probably the things that I think are the most important. So this includes like your injectable glutathione, injectable or even just normal NAC, liposoluble glutathione, GI aids such as oral BPC, oral TB, KPV. A lot of these things have probably been very substantial in reducing oxidative stress and keeping all my blood markers down, and thus keeping me as basically healthy as fucking possible that you can be while you're bodybuilding. So I couldn't be more thankful to Mike for literally showing me the ropes and also providing me with all of these things. Even the compounded supplements that he creates for blood pressure and reducing oxidative stress on all your organs, including your cardiovascular system, your liver and your kidneys. All of these that he creates have been very substantial, honestly. So You can find any of these at his site, aprhealthsolutions.com. And he has offered me a code Nile for you guys to use, which will offer you a 15% discount off of all of that as well. If you guys end up using those and you like him, please let me know. Shoot in a comment, just give me a DM or something. And if you ever have any problems or any questions, I'll be here too. This is a community for me, even though I don't have a fucking Discord because I'm lazy as shit, but I fucking should make one. So love you guys and keep training hard. When did you give up the natty card?
When did I give up my natty card? After my third show. I'm trying to think exactly when that was. December of 2017. So this was after my third show. I did my first show October of 2016. My second show was October of 2017. And my third show was October of 2017. So I did like 2 back-to-backs a year later. So I did my first show natural, then I met my coach at my first show. So actually I did my first show like not self-coached. My strength conditioning coach from hockey helped me with some ideas, but like he wasn't a bodybuilder and he never peaked anyone for bodybuilding. So like he didn't know much about bodybuilding,
Right.
but like he knew, hey, he had a kinesiology degree. He peaked athletes for performance. Bodybuilding is way different, but like he gave me what he thought a diet should look like and how to kind of like titrate down the calories and whatnot, and like wrote up a training plan for me. And then I had some last minute help during my peak week. Thank gosh, my mom had a connection with someone who knew one of the local pros who was able to kind of like pose me for a session and kind of help peak me, give me feedback and whatnot. And I met my coach Dan at that show because I placed fifth. I placed second out of 5 guys. And like I had a like good shape, like and people like were like, yo, what, like who is this? Like I have a good look, a good build, a good athletic look. And then you combine like a year of bodybuilding training, if I did nothing, you know, like I always had that like the X-frame type of look. I had good legs because of hockey, even though like, you know, I was just beginning, nothing was like developed. Like my upper body didn't outsize my lower body. You know what I mean? Like if anything, my legs outsized my upper slightly. But I had like flaring lats and good shoulders and like I had like a taper. Where at my first show, people compared me to Arnold, believe it or not. Because that was the first year classic was a thing. It was actually the first year that I competed. I was gonna do bodybuilding. I started prep actually for bodybuilding because it was men's physique and bodybuilding. But when I started prep, I think I was like a couple weeks in, they announced classic physique.
I didn't realize how long you were competing in classic for, to be honest.
Yeah.
Since the very beginning, it's crazy, man.
Literally the first year of classic. The literal first year of classic was the first year I competed. So 2016. And yeah, then I met my coach there, did off season with him. I turned 21 in 2017 because I remember that was like right before I started prep with him for those 2 shows. The first 2 shows I did with him was just those 2 back-to-backs in October. So I remember turning 21 to start my prep, and I remember placing like if I had like 15 guys at my local show, natural, which was good, open C or whatever. And then the next week I got third out like 8 guys, and I remember talking to him after that show and just saying like, I think I'm ready to kind of make that jump. You know, I was 21 at the time, just to turn 21. I was lifting for years, you know, even though it wasn't bodybuilding, but like I knew what I wanted to do. And like, I didn't go away to college. I went to a 2-year university, community college. Then when I did finish up my 2 years, I went to a 4-year school that I could commute to. So I was always able to stay. And I always did that because I knew I could be the best bodybuilder, even though I was like just getting started. I wasn't the type of guy who like wanted to go away to college and party and drink. Like I never was like that even in high school because I was playing hockey very competitively. So I didn't have the opportunity to really get into like the drinking and partying scene. Like I'll be straight up with you, big weed smoker. I've smoked a ton throughout like
Fire.
my life, and a lot of that does have to do with my dad's passing and kind of like starting to use that more to kind of cope with a lot of things. However, yeah, like I tell people all the time, like if you need to do something like as a bodybuilder, like smoke instead, it's the safest, healthiest thing you could do, right? And there's
Do you ever
no
feel like,
calories and
did
bullshit
you
and
ever feel
whatnot.
like
So
smoking? Do you ever feel like smoking made you run away from your problems, or made you
yes,
feel your emotions more?
yes, no, run away. There were times where definitely like you smoke a little too much or of the wrong strain or something and something hits you a little bit deeper. But I'll be honest with you, I was able to, especially with like dispensaries and stuff like, here and accessible to us, like use it as medicine, even though it wasn't medicinal to me and I never had like a medical card. Like we have
Yeah.
dispensaries here. I could walk to a dispensary and buy weed right now if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But we have the ability to now get the same stuff that medical patients are getting. And if you learn what could help you with things, like I could totally use a marijuana and strain that could help me focus throughout the day and not kind of get anxious or get stressed about my issues. And then at nighttime, I could use a strain that's going to help me go to bed and not get hungry, believe it or not. There's different strain. I know a lot of people are like,
Yeah.
we get you hungry. Like, yes, no doubt it does. Most strains do, but you can find things that work for you, right? And
That's fucking
and
cool,
figure
man.
out.
Because honestly, I feel like it's really cool to ask people because a lot of people have different experiences. And I feel like me, for
Yeah,
example, most of the time that I use it, it makes me feel the things that I'm feeling more. It makes me
yeah.
process the things that I'm processing even more, which I found to be kind of beneficial because in the moments that I've like smoked, for example, and things just come out, kind of like if you take shrooms and you end up going into like a dark place and things come out. I almost
I think,
feel
yeah,
lighter after I let it out when that does happen.
you're always going to, but I will say it also depends on what and why and how you're using it. Like and here's where you asked, like, do you use it to run away? I use it to run away. I use it to address. I use it to enhance. I figured out how to use this plant, literally, it's medicine to help me. And whether that's good or bad, that's for the individual to decipher. I can tell you that when it came to kind of masking some emotions about my pops, and I'll tell everyone actually, just truthfully, because you mentioned like anything. I think when we were talking about your buddy and just like anything can happen and like sudden, I had stopped smoking for over a month back in November
Mhm.
because I got a phone call saying it was like 7:45 in the morning on Friday. To give you an idea, my wife goes to work before me. Well, before me. I mean, I work from home, but like she leaves for work on Friday as I'm kind of getting up. So she's up before me and she's out. And that day I slept in a little bit. It was actually my dog's birthday, November 14th. I get a call from a random number 6 times. I don't answer the phone because I'm like, who's calling me solicitly this early in the morning? And then I get a text message saying, "Hey, Justin, your wife was in a bad accident. You need to come." This was this past November, and I jump out of bed. I call this number. I say, "Who the fuck is this? What the fuck you like? It's okay. It's okay. Your wife's okay, but the accident was very, very bad. You need to come here right now." I'm like, where the fuck? Like, where the fuck is she? Like, where? So. Thank God she was about like 7 minutes down the road. I literally got up, walked my dogs, pretty much naked. I was in my boxers and my t-shirt in my apartment complex. Got them to fucking piss real quick. Brought them in, threw on pants, and just fucking floored it to her. Floored it to her. And before this, I was smoking very regularly throughout the day. But and here's the thing, like one might say like that's a pothead. Um, I would say you would look at me and be like, this kid's not a pothead. This kid is operating efficiently.
Yeah.
I like, what's the difference if that helps me, like someone using Adderall? What should they probably have? Weed or Adderall? I mean, which one's probably safer? Not to go into those, but you know what I mean? Like, I was using it. I was using it to help me like operate, get work done, have good workouts, go to bed. But with my wife's accident, I said, what if I'm like smoking one day and something happens when I'm high and I don't know how to handle, like you were talking about, like something just fucking happens. And so when that happened, I took like a month plus break, and bro, I found out a lot of things about myself in that month. It was the first time I took that long of a break since 10 plus years.
What did you find out, if you don't mind me asking?
I found out that it's never as clear as it might seem. The answer is never always that clear, bro. And there's always like three sides to the story. Like one side, the other side, what's actually true. It made me think about a lot with my dad. Maybe like I had to really, right? Because like I was, using this to like mask these feelings, and it made me think like, I don't want to go into the depths about my father and the relationship and like the personal, like super, super personal stuff that includes other families' personal business too, if that makes sense. Right. Just kind of out of like, my family's business. But what I can tell you is it helped me understand why he maybe did things and could allow me to forgive certain things that I do know are wrong if I didn't see them the way that I do now. Like if I didn't understand them the way that I do now. Let's say I did not understand them, I would still be very valid for feeling like things he did were wrong. Now that I understand, I can like not be as angry at him for certain things that he had done. And I could not be as angry at myself of maybe how I reacted, because it's what I thought. And now that I think differently, I would have not reacted. And maybe we could have figured some things out. So help me walk things through. My wife helped me a lot with that. One of my other buddies, Umar, helped me a lot with that. My buddy Umar. So a lot of like just it helped me realize what in the weirdest way, and I'm just gonna kind of say this and leave it for the people to think about and interpret themselves for like what it is themselves, which is everything like matters. That's why nothing matters. And nothing matters. That's why everything matters. And I just want the people, if you think about like what that means, it's kind of like the yin and the yang, right? And I want just people to kind of understand what that might mean for them and their lives, if that makes sense. Like I kind of like put that into them, put that into you to kind of think about what that might mean for yourself, because it helped me realize, like that concept and what that means to me. Now I can operate around that. A lot. I have since, even recently, you know what I mean? Just because I didn't feel like I needed that break any longer, but I don't do it. I don't do as much. And my wife and I are actually trying to like take a break from it for a bit as well. So, just because it can add up price wise and just, like bad habits and,
Yeah. I believe the difference between an addict and someone who knows how to utilize tools is whether or not you're driving the ship or the ship is driving you. And I think there can be a pretty distinct difference if you're able to honestly read yourself.
I think so. I think there's been phases where I would say that I was addicted to having to smoke.
Yeah.
I'm not there now.
Yeah.
I broke that.
Right.
I broke that. But it's not even that, like, it's not even that. Any addiction, any use is abuse. Any use is abuse. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but when I think about things, I'm like, is this really the worst thing in the world that I happen to be doing compared to other people that are doing the tremendously worse things for themselves? And I hate to justify it like that. You know what I mean? But like,
no, yeah, for sure. And I don't like to justify anything either, but it's a fact of the matter that you can, in your terms, you can abuse something to benefit you. And sometimes that's not morally good, but in some of these situations, such as this, everybody listening to this podcast who is on PEDs and does this good beat and does this to Olympia and does this for the career.
Enhancers. Yeah.
Right. Obviously, it's hurting us in some aspects, but I mean, you choose if you drive the ship or the ship's driving you, and you choose what happens to your body, right? That's why this podcast exists, is because we have so many new avenues and so much more information for us to not have it destroy us.
Yeah.
But it takes effort, man. It takes effort. It takes effort and discipline, in my opinion.
It's cool that there's so much information that's out there. Sometimes it could definitely be overwhelming. No doubt. You don't know what's right or wrong. You don't know what to trust. You don't know X, Y, and Z. But like, you know, it definitely is good. And I think that people are trying to do really good.
Yeah.
You know,
do you ever feel like you did? Do you ever feel like you had a cycle where you did too much, or like you wish you did something different? Like maybe your first cycle or something like that?
I have not like I have one like overall cycle experience thing that I wish I could wish I could have done differently, or wish I could have, you know what I mean? Yeah. Which is, I wish maybe not use as many AIs in the past. When I got with Vivo, and like Vivo Health Solutions. There, I am going to plug them again. And just I know you work with a team or whatnot, but this is the team I work with. They're very helpful for me. I'm very honored. They, you know, prescribe me my testosterone, my peptides, some health supplements that I don't use from HD, right, or that HD doesn't have, right, just to fill some of those gaps. But anyway, speaking with their team, they wanted me to try their dip, like dip, over-the-counter dip, you know, like you get it from the store and whatnot, but they want to put me on dim because I always had issues with like nipple flare-ups and estrogen and like prolactin, and just like with all the UG stuff that I was using before, like I could never figure out, like, just, you know, just whatever. I have been able to run more testosterone, not necessarily that I have in the past. We're not, just like what I'm saying is more testosterone. And I am currently not using any AI except for DIM daily and some Caber once a week. Yes, I take some other compounds that help with estrogen control, no doubt. However, I wish that I understood the power of something like DIM long ago, and being able to monitor and navigate like AI use a bit more. So like that would be my one bit of it. Like my one thing, if I think about every cycle, it wasn't necessarily a compound, or I took D-ball once. I would never take D-ball again. I hate D-ball. It's stupid. Like that's my, I'd be like, but there was no mistakes ran with it. It was just like, I tried it, didn't like it, too much water, a compound was like, yeah. So like, you know, yeah, I'd say more so the AI side is where like people could definitely try to gain a better understanding, and then understanding like what the symptom or side effect is too. Like, is it more so from estrogen? Is it more so from prolactin? Like, you know, so I've been able to use, you know, I think 0.5 mg of Caber weekly. That's what Vivo has prescribed to me, and then Jim 200 milligrams daily of that. And I feel great. No negative side effects, lipids improved from, what I mean? Because AIs will tank that shit. So that would be yeah. That's my long drawn out answer to that. It's more of the AI side for me that I'd say I wish that I could kind of improve a bit more, or I wish I better approached in the past.
What do you feel like was the hardest prep you ever did?
In terms of what?
What do you feel like was just the most difficult for you? What did you go through? And it could be everything, it could be total allostatic load. It could be just, what did you feel like, whether it was what was going in your life or the prep and bodybuilding itself that just made it so hard?
I think probably my pro card prep. My pro card prep, the year that I got the show I got my pro card at, which was 2019. That was the year that my dad died. So my dad died in February of 2019, and I did Universe in July of 2019. And I remember doing Universe the year before. I placed 4th, so I missed my pro card by 2 spots. And I remember my dad was before he went into his first shoulder surgery, I remember we were talking about the season, and I said, I don't know when I'm going to compete. And he's like, you should do Universe again and get your pro card there because you were close last year and it's close to home. And I said, maybe we'll see. Right. And then he passed away. And I remember that conversation. And I remember talking to my coach and saying yo, what do we have to do to get this pro card? And he's like, we'll have to start prep in a week or two. And this was probably 3 to 4 weeks after my dad had passed away. So still fresh, obviously, but a bit more removed. So you're trying to get back into some normalcy with life. You know what I mean? If people that haven't lost a parent or a loved one, after that time, you're trying to get back to work. You're trying to get, you know what I mean? Things situated. And with my dad's situation, my dad had declared bankruptcy on the home. So when he did pass away, we had to get everything out of there ASAP too. So, and you asked why was this difficult? This was my last semester of college as well, that just started the end of January. So a couple weeks before my dad had passed away, I just started my last semester of college, right? So then he passed away in my last semester of college. We had to move out and empty the whole house that he declared bankruptcy for. I had to go through the last semester of college. He had lived 10 minutes from my college and 5 minutes from my 2 jobs at the time. My mom lived 40 minutes. So it turned my commute time into longer too, because my parents were divorced. So the parents are divorced, I should say, were divorced, are divorced. So I had to commute longer. So it was so there was so much challenge behind going into that prep, and so much with that that was definitely the most challenging prep, no doubt, for me. Yeah. There's been some tough preps in terms of pushing the body. I'm trying to think of one of the toughest preps in terms of feeling complete fucking utter trash. I think the whole Fit World and Charlotte run was rough. My 2023 run, I did 2 shows that were 3 weeks apart. I got food poisoning 8 hours out from the first show. So I was throwing up at 4 a.m. and had diarrhea, and I had to be on stage in 7-8 hours.
Jesus.
So that was fun. Yep, that was Fit World in 2023. And then I did Charlotte, which was 3 weeks after that. And my body, it was so tough to bounce my body back from the food poisoning. I had flight issues. I had to sleep in fucking Chicago's airport. because my flight got fucking delayed and canceled, and I got a fucking weird layover. And then we went to Charlotte. I placed second to, I don't know if you know, you might know him. You know Dan Fabodi? You know Daniel?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
man. Yeah,
he's a good homie, man.
yeah, he's a man. So he won that show. That was his first win, was Charlotte 2023. I placed second right behind him.
Mm.
And I remember that prep, and like when I lost him, like, and like obviously like he was a better athlete that day, but I was like devastated just because it was such a tough prep, that prep, in terms of what my body was going through. And oh, I forgot another thing I forgot. That was the prep where 2 weeks before Fit World, I had gotten accepted for that software job. So I was going through an interview process for my job, and I got the job offer 2 weeks out from Fit World. And I actually started the job a week after Fit World, which was 2 weeks before the second show. So I remember going into work for a week and then working like 2 days the next week and then telling them I could work. And I remember at the time they were like, "You're already taking off?" It's like, I've had this vacation planned. I was scared to tell them I was a bodybuilder at the time. I didn't want them to think anything of it. So I said I had a vacation planned.
I'm just fucking yoked.
Yeah. Well,
It's in the eggs.
so you got to think, it was remote, but I did meet these people in person a few times when traveling. So you are right. Like when we would go and meet, I was big, you know what I mean? I'm big compared to these people, you know, and this was 2023 and 2024 when I was, you know, like coming up in terms of my size, right? It wasn't like earlier competing Justin where, you know, like, you know, some people, you look at them with clothes on, you're like, yeah, they don't look that big. And then they take their clothes off. You're like, oh, wow. Okay. That was like me years ago. You know, I had good shape and whatnot, but I was never the biggest guy. When I posed, you'd be, oh, wow, it comes to life. Now I could say, like, you know, I'm a lot bigger. When people see me, they'd be like, okay, this is a bigger guy, you know? So, but it never was like that. So, you know, when I was in the software, you know, sphere per se, I was a bigger dude, you know, seeing these people. But I went through that interview process a couple weeks before Fit World. And yes, that was another tough prep. So those were probably my toughest, was 2019 and then 2023 prep. Those were probably my toughest two preps.
That's a lot, dude. It's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Oh, you know, I'll go through it. And I know the other people have been through a lot too. And like, you know, I try to just, what I've been trying to do, this kind of goes back to like, sometimes it is black and white, but sometimes it's also gray area, is like, admit that and acknowledge that I have been through some tougher experiences.
Yep.
Other people have been through way tougher. That doesn't mean that I can't feel like my stuff wasn't challenging. And but also like, I shouldn't be like, oh, I have it worse than someone who maybe just has a minor issue. A good example is like, I hate to like literally like talk about black and white like this. Like, I lost my dad. There's people that have lost both parents. It's like, it wouldn't be fair for them to say, well, like, at least you still have your mom. It's like, man, like, it's not fair. Like, I don't have my fucking dad. And I'm like, you know, but I shouldn't be like, well, life is perfect because I still have my mom and that person doesn't have either. It's like, yes, I should think like life is phenomenal. Like, my mom is still alive. Like, my siblings are alive. Like, I don't need to think like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to like rationalize or like, you know, it's like, yeah, like, so when it comes to the situations I've been through, it's like, they've definitely been challenging. People have been through worse. People have been through not maybe as challenging, but like for me, they were challenging. That's just how I view them as just like challenges to me. Just like you've had challenges to you that I might not be able to understand or rationalize them, but they've impacted you the way they have, just like my things have impacted me the way they have. You know, they've changed me and morphed me into the man that I am, just like things that have changed you and morphed you into the man that you are. We both lost someone who meant a ton to us. They had different roles in our lives. One was a friend, one was a father, right? Doesn't mean necessarily like, you know, one might argue like, just if we're being completely honest, like one might be like, well, Justin's is tougher because like it was his dad and his father figure. But someone might be like, well, my dad wasn't the best of person, and I was closer with my best friend, and that best, like, I understand his, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. We all been through it. We all go through it. We all need to be together. I feel like there's so much hate in the world, and everyone's trying to like one up one another and try to be like, oh, their situation's better or worse, or it's like, man, like just try to fucking help each other, because like this is a short-lived life, bro. Like, and it's like, it's scary. Like I live like people don't realize this. Like I live like scared of a lot of things a lot of time. You know what I mean? Like fear and like, like what the future looks like, what this, and like I hate it. So like, man, I don't want to live with hate. I don't want to live thinking about like I'm trying to one up someone or fight someone or this, that, or you know what I mean? Like you ever meet someone that like they're always ready to fight? They're always ready for competition. It's like, why? It's like, and maybe I'm speaking this way because like I'm deep in the prep, but you'd think deeper in the prep, someone like would be like, yo, I'm ready to fuck you up, right? All these drugs are kicking me hard. Like, I'm ready to be a tough guy. But like, no, like, I'm like, yeah, just like relax. It's all good. We just need to be kind to one another. Why is everyone like, there's some people that like, they thrive off of confrontation and like chaos. I'm just
I hope my homie's listening to this right now.
I hope
He
so
knows
too.
exactly who I'm talking about.
We need help. I need to help my boy Niall out. So, if you're Niall's homie, you need this. You need to chill. You need to chill.
It's fun going out with him. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah, well, go out with them here and there, but be careful.
Because of all the drama of the last company that I was working with, and I'm not trying to point any fingers or anything, but you guys definitely have probably heard what was going on. I've been a little bit skeptical, to be honest, and I've been wanting to find an HRT company that I could work with and that I could get my blood work done with, and that would offer me some proper guidance without upcharging all of my homies and shit. So there's this kind of crazy opportunity that I feel like the universe has granted, because it's not something that I searched for necessarily, but ended up being through connections with my closest friends. And it's this new company I was working with, Optimize HRT, which Nathan was recently discussing. And I just gotta say, man, I'm really proud of everything that they've created and everything that they're standing for. They're trying to take advantage of the fact that they know what went wrong with the last HRT company and trying to make sure that that doesn't happen this time, if you know what I'm saying, and doing things the right way. So this company is where I am getting my blood work done from, and basically getting all my health measures and protocols for longevity checked. And basically the difference between an HRT clinic and a research chem gray market source is that the HRT clinic works with a 5083 compounding pharmacy. You can get all your peptides and your medications prescribed by the doctor. If you're not getting a hormonal peptide or medication such as testosterone, nandrolone, winstrol, or anavar, which you can get prescribed to yourself if the need is shown, such as like osteoporosis or some other muscle wasting disease, then luckily you can get the peptides prescribed to you without having to get blood work done. But they do offer a $100 membership that includes free blood work, which is normally a $420 panel every 3 months. And with the membership, you also get a wellness specialist that is like your peptide coach that will, with the doctor, give you the best peptide protocol or medication protocol to make sure you reach your goals. And these are goals such as fertility goals, cutting down and getting fucking jacked, composition goals, longevity goals, basically everything that you can imagine that is fucking sick for dudes. The other great thing, aside from getting everything prescribed, which obviously you can show your destinations if you're traveling, your prescriptions, so you're not getting thrown into jail in Tokyo or some shit. It is sent with cooling, needles, and instructions, which is actually illegal for research chem science. And in terms of safety and quality, Optimize HRT does work with a 5038 compounding pharmacy, in which the FDA checks for its inflow and outflow currents to make sure that there are no vortexes that cause contamination, which yields the highest threshold of safety, basically. So this is on an opinion by opinion basis. Like, if you decide that you want to go the cheaper route, then normally gray market sources that are research chem sites will normally offer these for cheaper. Since the company is still new, they are offering their peptides at the lowest cost that they can in respective to other HRT companies, because they are trying to get their member base up. So if you are wanting to join an HRT clinic, now is probably the time. And that link is going to be in the description if you guys are interested. You could also use code NILE whenever you apply, because that helps your boy out and gives me a little reference and gives me some creds. So they know I'm sick and that people actually like the podcast, which would be pretty awesome. since I am helping with the start of this company, I want to make sure that this is the best company that could possibly give us the best experience. So if you guys happen to have any questions or any concerns, bring this shit up with me, man, because I want to make sure that we all grow this to be the best that we can, and we all grow together, obviously, because otherwise my podcast is shit, and everything that I've like worked for is like fucking pointless. So that's what it's all about, bro. Is family and brotherhood, and us getting fucking yoked.
How do you feel like because I saw some of your old pictures, man, and even though you do have a small waist, that shape, you didn't always have that. Yeah, you had some flaring lats, but man, like the shape that you've gained over the course of the last, like, I don't know how long, maybe 6+ years at least, is insane to me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like saw I don't know if you posted it maybe recently, like a little before and after, but it's just so painfully obvious, man. Like, what did you do to create the shape that you have now? Obviously, a lot and a big portion of it is genetic, but with all that growth and the muscle that you put in the right places, what was the strategy and how did you do it?
No doubt. So I think it's, and I you know, I'm going to say this talking about a lot of things. And if some of these viewers have been following me or hear me talk, like, it's never a one size fits all thing. It's never like one movement. It's never like one concept or one thing. It's a combination of things that create the end product, right? A beautiful picture is created maybe with different paintings, different colors, different tools, different this, that, and the other thing, right? So it's been a combination of things. Like, because when you're talking about my physique and my frame, you can talk about the muscle I put on. That's one approach. You can talk about skin health. When people look at me, one thing they notice is my skin looks pretty healthy. And if you like remember, that's something they talked about, like Phil Heath, about like having clean skin, right? Like, and I do think that matters to a degree because we're talking about physiques, right? And like the look of a physique does need to be clean to a degree. Not that that matters if someone has some pimples or some breakouts or some scar tissue or some stretch, right? But like, right, there's a bunch of, my point is there's a bunch of different things, right? You talk about the size, we talk about the waist. So like, here's what I can say. I have been as consistent as one can be since I've started. No doubt. And I'm going to toot the absolute shit out of my horn here. And my coach will not like, Dan, if you're listening to this, he'll tell you, I'm one of the most diligent clients that he has had, checking off every single box. Why do I think that's important? Because in the off seasons, I followed my plan. One cheat meal a week, sometimes two, right? Like, I've been so, and here's the thing, but I also want people to know, like, yes, I've had vacations, like where I've gone away for a week and I drank and I ate. Yes, I've gotten married, took off days for that. Yes, I've had breaks here and there. I've had breaks in my 9 years of doing this, right? But I've been so fucking consistent. I think that's a big thing. That's going to be the biggest thing, no matter what, is consistency and intensity, no matter what. And when I say intensity just means like in the consistency with what you're doing, right? You're intense in what you do. You're intense in making sure your sleep is on point. You're intense in making sure that your training's on point, your recovery, your eating, okay? All this stuff. But now let's talk about the physique, right? Kind of what you're kind of asking about. You have to say, what do I want to, what picture am I trying to paint? And listen, would you agree that all physique competitors should want some sort of X frame? When I say physique competitors, I mean everyone who literally is competing. You should want to have some type of X frame, right? Like whether it's men's physique, 212, classic, open, bikini, fit model, wellness. I think we all can all agree. Some X frame, hourglass, like we all want to have a smaller waist and some shape to us. Would you say so? That's a goal, right? I think that's fair for every division, no matter what. Like even in bodybuilding, where it's like, yeah, we don't need to have the smallest waist and the widest. It's like, but you do want to have some type of shape to you. I think we can all agree with that, right? So like, what is some things then when you go through the division, and then let's talk about my division, you ask about me. I think the big things for us is like our V taper, our quad sweep, our super small waist, our lat width, our shoulders, right? So with to us, right, with a super small waist. Sorry if you hear my dog barking. I don't know if you can hear her. If you can, sorry. But I think that improving and looking at like how you can get as wide as possible while keeping your waist as tight as possible has been an approach for me over the years. And as I've continued to get wider, I do continue to need to thicken out in terms of like when people look at my shape, and you've seen me in person now. So like, feel free to kind of like give your feedback and thoughts. But like, I'm a very wide guy, very wide. So you have a lot of width. My front to back thickness has come up a lot, but because I'm so wide, that's been more of a challenge for me. This is my front to back thickness. But when it comes to like what I've been able to do to get to the shape that I have today, I've really worked on my lats, my shoulder width, my leg width, right? Like legs overall. They've been a pretty strong point for me, but also then waist. Bro, I'm the type of dude who, and the here is probably the most important detail I'm going to give to to the viewers here on what I've been able to do to keep my shape going and progressing over the years and keep my waist tight. So take notes here, people. Okay. Cardio in the off season, cardio in the off season, cardio in your vacuums and your ab training in the off season. So I am blessed that I have a treadmill at home now, but let's say I lived in an apartment complex, which I do, but they had a gym here. Mine doesn't. So I have a treadmill in my apartment. But if you have access to a treadmill, whatever your coach wants you to do for cardio, let's say like how much cardio does your coach have you do right now?
I'm not with my coach at the moment, but I'll be joining
How
him
much
in a
cardio are
month.
you doing right now?
Very minimal,
Don't say
brother.
none, motherfucker. Don't say none.
I'm doing, dude. I'm literally doing. I'm not even making it to over an hour a week, a whole week.
All right, let's say
maybe 20 minutes for 3 sessions a week max.
Fine, easy
Max.
peasy. Because in the off season, I'll be honest with you, I do much. I'm set at about 20 minutes 6 days a week in the off season, and I'll tell you why.
Still twice as good as me.
20 minutes is really not hard, especially like if you have it at home and you don't have to commute for it. Like a 20-minute walk to start your day is just, I love it. And me and my coach, I have never counted my steps. Never. He's never had me do a step count. I've only tracked with cardio sessions. Like you're going to walk for 30 minutes at this speed, at this incline on the treadmill. That's kind of how I like to operate. That's how we do it. I've never tracked my steps. But that's my cardio. But my point behind what I was saying is, let's say in the off season, you do 3 cardio sessions a week. That's all your coach has you do. What I would do is I would do my ab training before my cardio. I would do my cardio. And then when I'm done my cardio, I do right into my vacuum training. This is what I do now. So people, you want a small waist, you want the J-Bands vacuum, and you want to get a tight waist, here's my tips. Here's my tips to you. Cardio, abs, and vacuums. So right now, to give you an example, my coach tells me to do cardio 6 days a week. So when I wake up, I go to the bathroom, have my bowel movement, whatever. I then go do, this is real like ghetto, but like this is what I do. My apartment complex has a stairwell right out front. I can hang from it. I literally do hanging leg raises out front of my apartment. My neighbors can see me if they want to. I look like a fucking baboon. I look like a fool. I'm hanging from this stairwell doing leg raises for my abs every morning. And then when I'm done, I get on the floor and I do my crunches. So I literally wake up right outside my apartment front door. I do my abs. I do my crunches. I go back inside. I do my cardio. When I'm done my cardio, I do my vacuums. Then I start my day. I do all that fasted. I've been doing that in prep and in the off season. So let's say in prep, again, cardio 6 days a week. I'm doing abs and vacuums 6 days a week. Let's say in the off season, my coach is like, we're going to pull your cardio down. You're only doing it 4 days a week for 20 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 20 minutes or 40 minutes. Well, let's say it's 20. I do my abs and my vacuums 4 days a week. It's just, I tie in my abs and my vacuums with my cardio. And I just feel as though keeping them in the off season, even if it's just been, there's been times in the past where it's just been 3 sessions a week, like what you're doing now, maybe for 20 minutes, where I would do my abs and my vacuums with my cardio. And I think that that's how I've kept my waist as tight and small as possible with how much bigger I've gotten. And like, another fun fact, bro, is like, it's tough for me to make weight. So my carb up is pretty intensive, right? You see how tight I keep my waist still. If you knew how much food I ate from our weigh-in at Hurricane until when we stepped on stage, bro, I had like 4 different burger and fry meals in that like
Jesus.
22-hour window, and pancakes, eggs, cream of rice, protein, honey, peanut butter. I ate so much food. I probably had like 1,400 carbs, 1,300 carbs in like under a day to try to fill back out from that. And my waist is still, it's like, where does it go? So that's my point, is I can handle it. I've trained my body to get there over the years of the consistency. So you ask, like, what does it take? It takes consistency of doing that over the years. It wasn't just 1 year of off-season abs and vacuums. It's been years. And following the diet to a T. I can still drink a diet soda and an energy drink. I'm about to go get an energy drink right now. I told you, my ghost. I can drink this and prep still very close to the show without those things even impacting my digestion at all. You don't see it impact me at all. And it's just because I've done this consistency. So like, that goes back to my first point of the consistency of these things throughout the years of checking off these boxes.
I agree with the vacuums, especially, for sure. What have you done for digestion over the years?
So really simple stuff, actually. Really simple. I have a very similar like gut stock, and I don't think that it's anything that's too crazy. And I think that a lot of people and coaches overdo the living shit out of it. I think that diet is medicine more than anything. And I think that a lot of your athletes, yes, coaches that are listening to this, fuck around too much and ruin their digestion. And then when they get back on the clean eating, it's for a couple of days, then their digestion's ruined. So they have all these gut issues, and you put them on all these gut things to try to fix issues because they're just self-sabotaging. I think that what I've done over the years is quite simple. I found a really good digestive enzyme that works for me that I have, let's say 3 times a day. I'll have it like first meal, midday, last meal, like a good digestive enzyme, you know? Cool. I do have a morning, so that's one. I have a morning shake. I've consistently been having this morning shake for years. The brands have changed based off of who I've been with and whatnot, but like my morning shake is a scoop of greens powder, right? So right now I use my HD greens. I do two scoops, which is 10 grams of glutamine in there. HD. Right now I do use collagen. So collagen's in there, and then I pour some apple cider vinegar in there. I fill that up with about 32 ounces of water, and I slam that down not as soon as, but you know how I said I do my vacuums, then I start my day? That's how I start my day. So when I'm done my vacuums, I'll start drinking some water. I'll take my dogs for a little bit of a walk. I'll come back in. I'll get their food ready. I'll get my greens with all my morning pills, right? And then I'll have my coffee and start my day. That's kind of how I go about it. So that's my, sorry, I know you're about to say something. That's what I've been doing digestion wise for like years, is that the digestive enzymes and then that morning shake. I take a shit ton of health supplements, but they're not really like for that. Like, you know, argue omegas help. They don't, sure, whatever. Like the body but they do, because here's the thing, like the body operating normal, like at a good, like you can argue that taking vitamin D3 and K2 could help your digestion. Yes, it's not for that. But my point is the body operating in a good rhythm. A good example is if you're taking something that's going to help you sleep, which is going to put you into a deeper sleep, it's going to utilize the other supplements, food, everything better to help you operate better. That's my point. Not one, like someone's like, what's the best hamstring movement? It's like, there's not one best one. I can tell you the 3 that I like in the order that I like them for these reasons. That's like, it's a sequence. Like there's always, it's never just one thing. It's like, it's how do you combine these things to get that concoction you're looking for? Because like I also just started to take not just started. I started taking BPC because Vivo has VPC, so they prescribe me BPC. I take that more so for joint inflammation, but like my digestion's been great since taking it. I have not had any issues. Yeah, that's my digestion, and I eat a lot of food, and I can handle a lot of food, and I think that I've kept it very simple with my diet over the years. I've had variety, but I've kept it simple, and I've just been consistent with eating clean food, which is why I think my digestion is more optimal than most, is just the consistency of my clean eating over the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
That's more so what I
And you
think it
include,
is than anything.
it seems like you include variety, which I think is one of the biggest factors.
I do.
You got your greens powder and everything too.
Thankfully, I'm sponsored by Clean Plate, which is a meal prep company here in South Jersey. They do local delivery to Philly because I'm very close to Philadelphia. I don't know if you know that. Like I'm probably like, I live in the part of Jersey, because Jersey, we have like New York, which is close, and then Philly, and then Delaware. I'm South Jersey, so like I'm very close to Philadelphia. I'm like some of Phillies fans for things like the Eagles, Flyers. I'm not like a New York, New Jersey guy. So if people ever talk about New Jersey and where they're from, like there are different kind of like hubs to it, but I'm close to the Philly side. I'm close to Philly. What was my point behind saying that?
The food variety.
Food variety, yeah. But yeah, food variety. So like, yeah, they deliver. Yes, Clean Plate. They don't. Thank you. See, need that sometimes. They deliver down here. So like, they sponsor me for my chicken and my steak. So like, I have chicken steak daily. I have eggs. Like, oh, this is a cool, segue into kind of like the food types that I have, because I think like I have enough variety, but also I'm really simple. And to be honest, guys, and I don't know if you agree with this, bro, like variety is good to a degree, but like also you don't need that much variety, and it tends to add up price wise. Like, and a lot of people, and the reason that I talk a lot about the price of things is because, one, I'm grateful to be in the situation that I am now where I have a lot of sponsors and stuff help me. However, I have a lot of clients and people ask me, hey, bodybuilding is pricey, man. All the healthy food, all the health subs, all the protein powder, all the peptides, all the performance enhancers, right? So I'm always trying to help people kind of like decipher the best and cheapest way to kind of go about things. So I tell people simplicity tends to be key, but like we mentioned, there is some variety. So like I have chicken, I have steak, I have egg whites and eggs, I have protein powder. That's pretty much like my main protein source. So I do have yogurt in my day as well, so I will include that in there. For carbs, I have rice, cream of rice, oatmeal. They tend to be my main carb sources, with vegetables as well, mostly green beans and asparagus. Blueberries is my fruit. I have macadamia nut oil, which is basically like coconut oil, olive oil, whatever, it's just, I go with mac oil because I like it. I have almond butter or peanut butter. Right now I'm using almond butter. They're pretty similar.
Patrick has both
simple.
olive and macadamia nut oil in my plan.
Really? In the same day? Like you have like one meal with one with another, huh?
Yeah. Macadamia nut is at the end.
Interesting. That'd be like having like peanut butter with one meal and almond butter with one meal, I guess. But like, that's cool. Nah, right? No, I mean, like,
do you know why is there a benefit to you having collagen in the morning versus night?
No. No reason. No, just being truthful. And like,
Freaking hilarious.
Yeah. So here's what I say about me. I definitely am like, cause the whole argument with like science-based and pro science, and it's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same. I'm like definitely like in the middle and love both. And like, I went to school for kinesiology. I have an exercise science degree. I understand how the stuff works to that level, but I also understand that some things just like, it's kind of like they tell you some supplements are better to be taken at some times of the day than others. And it's like, you're telling me really like it's not going to work if I take it like if I take my creatine in the morning versus pre-workout versus post-workout before bed. There are some things like caffeine where like I'm probably not going to fucking take that before bed, and melatonin I'm not going to take when I wake up in the morning. But I do think that like something like collagen, like, and I tell a lot of people like as long as you're just kind of getting it in the day, and I put it in my green shake because like it's unflavored, it mixes in with it well. I start the day like that. So like there are some supplements like in my health stack that probably are taken at times of the day where like they normally wouldn't be like recommended there. It's not that they wouldn't be recommended. It's just like they'd be recommended elsewhere. But like they tell you to take vitamin D3 and K2 with your first meal. It's like, you're telling me like if I take 2 servings of it a day, one's with my first meal, one's with my last meal, like it's like not good. Like, I don't believe that. But you know, even like, yeah, I mean, I don't. I just, you know, so but someone can argue me and that's cool. And like they might be right, and that's totally cool with me. That's just kind of how I do it, you know.
Got it. Let's move to this Q&A, but real quick before I jump to it, if you don't mind me asking, what is the what did you run in the off seasons where you gained the most?
Yeah. So I can tell you that the off seasons I gained the most was actually probably some of the more minimal stuff I've run. And it wasn't really until starting to work with Vivo. I understand that that is going to be like another shameless plug, but I really want to kind of educate people here. And I know that this is something you're going to agree with too, on what I'm saying. So I think that there is a ginormous difference in having pharmaceutical grade gear than underground that you might not know. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I trust my UG. It's like, if you've never tested it and you don't know, and batches can be different, one batch to another, you just don't know the quality, the dosing, like whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that I was taking more UG stuff than I am farm grade, right? And again, I'm prescribed everything through Vivo, my TRT. You know, I have reasons as to why I'm prescribed things, right? So, you take it for what it's worth. And then there's also things like, let's say that Vivo can't prescribe, that things that aren't accessible here that I have to get elsewhere, that I navigate that way. You know, as bodybuilders, we have to do that, right? But what I can tell you is, since working with Vivo and being able to utilize pharmaceutical compounds and high quality compounds at correct dosages for my needs, I've been able to see the most results. And compound wise, again, some of these are through the clinic, some of them are through other ways, but I can tell you that my go-to stack, someone wants to know like a go-to off-season stack that is what I've done to put on size. Again, I'm not recommending this to anyone. This is just me personally, right? And then you have to like say that shit now when you talk about it. Is testosterone as your base, Primo, Anavar, yes, growth hormone, and insulin. Sure, take your BPC, take your TB, take your GHK. You know, like the pep, but if I'm talking about the compounds that what people are going to ask, like what compounds, right? Like those things, right? I know GH and insulin are not necessarily like steroids, right? But like that is the stack that is the cleanest, safest, and if it's all legit, I'm telling you, if you nail the dosages for you, those were the 2 off seasons that I blew up. Very clean, very quality size. But I think the combination of the quality gear with correct dosages, with the years of experience under my belt, because I've run more and I've taken more in the past. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Being open and
Yeah. It's the way that I see gear and taking doses is like caffeine or any of these other drugs like Adderall or something. But like imagine caffeine. If you've been running 400 milligrams of caffeine every single day for like 2 years, you know, in that second year, how how effective is caffeine for you at increasing your productivity and how fast that your brain flows? If you've taken a couple months off caffeine and then you're on caffeine for that first month, how productive are you? And if you jump to 400, how does your heart feel right off the bat when you jump to 400?
1,000%. It's the same thing with gear, bro. A lot of people, like, they'll never lower their gear. And let's even say they don't have access to like the best quality. So like, let's say it's the same lab they're using. And they're used to running, let's say 400 mgs a test a week. No, right? Let's just say 400, whatever. And let's say they'll never fucking come off because they're so in their head. Coming off might be the best thing for them. And they might actually not see a dip at all. And then when they go back on, they can take 200 and they reap even more game.
Bro, I'm not even eating that much. And I'm just like, I'm just gaining weight. First from 350 tests and 300 primo, and now from 500 tests, 450 primo. And I'm still gonna increase the doses as I keep going. But like right now, like I don't need to like fucking.
You're on some of the best compounds you can be on, in my opinion. If you're getting legitimate, testosterone, legitimate primo.
I just wish I took time off, bro.
I can hear you. I'm literally just grabbing my energy drink real quick.
Yeah, go grab it. Go grab it.
Talk. I have the headphones in.
Yeah.
I'll literally be back in like 2 seconds.
We're gonna finish let's finish up this Q&A, but that helps, man.
What energy drinks do you like?
I mean, I'm a coffee addict, dude. But if I have some extra ghosts for free, I'll smash those for sure. Also, just smash my huge subs pre-workout. Sometimes I just do that, and it feels pretty great too.
Me and my wife
because of all the extra shit in it.
John. My wife and I, we have a K-cup thing, and then we also have a espresso thing that we got for Christmas.
Yeah,
we're big coffee people, bro.
Coffee's a shit.
What flavor you think I went with?
I mean, my favorite is Swedish Fish.
There's a lot of flavors, so I'm gonna narrow it down. It's more of a fruit flavor.
That narrowed it down like crazy. Okay, so not a candy flavor then. No, I don't know.
Narrow it down a little bit.
Fuck. Oh, straw mango fire.
Straw mango.
Kind of tastes like a margarita. Eh? Nice.
That's all right.
Yeah,
that's good. Let's go.
How do you run your insulin? Is it just on days like that you need is it on muscle groups that you're trying to improve?
It depends what season.
Yeah.
In the off season, I'm running it. Well, I'm usually, how I run my insulin is I've always run a fast acting one and used it around pre and post workout windows.
Yeah. I think that's how most are now.
And I've run it in the off season. I'll run it like on every training day. And in prep, we usually just use it on like refeed days, like not a lot. In previous preps, I have used it more, but I've noticed the leaner and bigger I've gotten, I can't get away with it. And I start to like feel hypo-y quicker, even from like lower dosages or dosages I knew I could handle. So it's like, it's not even worth the trade-off. So, but I love the compound. I probably wouldn't advise people to use it I understand why open bodybuilders use it. I probably wouldn't utilize it for athletes who like have to cut extreme weight and get like, they're going to kind of be in that state a lot, right? Whereas bodybuilders, they can eat a lot and get lean. And I'll give you a great example. Like I'm in pretty good shape and condition, like mid 250, and I have to cut to 227. Right. So it's like, like I could technically in a couple of years, like transform my body to do open to a degree where I could eat more food, take insulin, get lean, but utilize the insulin and get bigger and leaner and like utilize that more in a prep setting, if that makes sense. I don't think athletes that, have to make weight and have to kind of worry about their weight should be using insulin, especially as they get super, super deep. into
Okay.
into prep. And I think that like you're probably going to be so lean and sensitive enough, or if you do need a lot of food, you don't fucking need insulin to help move it. You're going to be totally good with moving it. You know what I mean? Like that's just my opinion. Because I notice now in prep, even on refeed days where I might have a lot of food and not a ton of insulin at all, like what I might be able to use and handle and get away with, I can't, which means I'm moving what I already have too much. I don't need it, you know? So use it for when you might need it, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you down to rapid fire this Q&A?
Yeah.
We just got,
Yeah, absolutely.
honestly, we got like maybe like 10 minutes. So it's going to be pretty
shit,
hard.
My bad. Sorry, brother.
It's going to be pretty
My
hard
bad.
to fit it in, but let's
Did you
try
have
it.
more to talk about? My bad.
Oh, my Josh, LOL, asks a question that's kind of like related to what we're talking about anyway, so I feel like it fits. But he goes, cycle question mark, some transparency of what people take to get to that level, what he thinks others take. Do you mind me asking what, you don't have to answer this if you don't feel comfortable, but I would love to know what you feel like your sweet spot test and GH doses, just out of curiosity. You're a taller guy and a bigger guy, so I would imagine it to be bigger just because you are bigger, but you know, it differs per person.
I think I can settle on 606. Truthfully, try to be as transparent and honest as possible. I think that 600 mgs of test a week and 6 units of GH a day is okay. 4 to 6 units GH. Like
Okay.
I think that's a sweet spot. 5 to 600 tests, 4 to 6 units GH. Believe it or not. Now, that is where I would say, if you ask me right now, that's what I would say.
Are you saying now because it was higher in the past? Kind of like what you were saying earlier, how you feel like you've been able to run less recently?
And why I say that is like 1,000 mgs of test in the past, max 6 units of GH. I've never gone more than 6.
How did you feel on 1,000 though? Did it feel like
Not the
benefit
best.
to? Okay.
Not the best. No. This is the best I felt the past 2 years. And I don't know if it's, again, because of like the UG, not understanding dosaging. Maybe one vial had more tests in an ml than another. Like so like maybe you were crashing your estrogen versus one time you weren't taking enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like you were taking too little. Like, I think that I can say that now confidently, but in the past, I don't know what that exact dose would have been. Based off of if this stuff that I was taking was true to the dosages, I would say 750 to 1,000 of UG.
Okay, I see.
It's what I was doing for a couple years as I was putting on size. But when I did start to put on a shit ton of size over the past 2 years, it's been different. The quality of the gear and the amount.
Okay, like quality gear, 600 test. That's pretty cool, dude. That's awesome. I'm hoping that I'm gonna have to figure that shit out for myself. But personally, in my last off seasons, 500 tests and 4 IUs of GH, and then now 600 tests and 4 IUs of GH was mine. So I'm sure it's going to increase. But I think
what I will say is there's only so much that I can get from the clinic, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, you do have to go elsewhere for certain things, like I talked about.
No, I totally get that. Yeah.
Because I don't want people thinking Viva does anything like that. Like this is a completely clean brand and company and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't go and get everything under the sun that you want. Like they're your doctors, so they're monitoring my lab work. And again, like they do have prescription Anavar. They do have prescription Winstrol. Because there are compounds that are legally prescribable, and you can talk with their doctors.
No, I get it. Yeah, it's the same thing as my HOD clinic optimized. They also have prescribable Anavar and Winstrol as well.
But they probably don't have like Primo and Tren and like these other compounds that, you know, like you have to go kind of the same way that you might have been in the past type of thing. You know what I mean? So
Fire training would be fire. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That'd be great.
Strict Strength says legs are huge, by the way.
Thank
people
you.
are asking for both your leg and back routine. There's like multiple questions asking for your leg and back routine.
Cool. Okay. I can kind of rattle that off quickly if you'd like. So
yeah, let's do that.
Cool. So I'd say that something I've been consistently doing for a bit is 2 full back sessions a week, 4 exercises. So 4 on one day, 4 on another day. And then I've been pretty much consistently, I only train legs once a week, but I do a little bit of hamstring work on one of the back days. So
your hamstrings are crazy.
I would say that, I got a pretty good drop. I think that a lot of it is to how I train my hamstrings, how I perform. That people want to learn what I mean by that. And what now I was talking about, like, just go look at how I do my hamstring curls, super slow controlled, holding contractions. Like a lot of it, I've learned from RP. I've learned from Nick Loth, from Charlie, Charlatan here. He's another training guy here, from trained by JP, like John Jewett. It's cool to have all these resources for us to learn how to kind of like train, right? But I've learned how to train that for me. So like, anyway, so I have a full leg day where I train like 3 quad movements, 2 hamstring and 1 adductor, right? So a pretty typical leg day for someone. And then I'll do like, another curl and an RDL on the back day. And on those back days, I'm doing 2 lat movements and 2 upper back movements. So that's kind of like how my RDL is hitting my lower back. That's my pull. So basically I'm hitting back twice a week. I'm hitting hamstrings twice a week, and I'm hitting quads once a week.
That's cool. I see.
Type of thing. And then calves, I'll kind of do like on some of the upper sessions. Like I might do that on like shoulder and arm day, and then maybe on the first back, like the back of bicep day, that's Monday type of thing. That's not doing hamstrings, just because man, after after a leg day and the back and hamstring day, like I hit back and hamstrings today. And it's just it's a fucking long day. Like they even.
I'm sure, bro. I love how you have RDLs at the same time as back, but
like I kind of I do 4 back movements, then I do curls, then I finish with RDLs. But like I don't really do anything. A lot of people ask how I've gotten to my back because they want the back routine type of things. Now I'll talk about that because I just talked about the leg stuff and what I do, like leg day adductors, single leg curl, seated curl, extensions, leg press, pendulum squat. That's what I'm doing for legs right now. I used to back squat a lot. Back squatting is the best fucking leg builder. I don't care what anyone says. You should probably back squat if you have small legs. Again, I don't care what anyone says. I don't anymore because it puts a lot on my knees, my hips. I'm such a good squatter and how I perform them. It's just, it's too much. I can handle 1 set of it a week and I'm fucked. So it's not worth it. So like I found other movements to hit what I need to do more down low, better, and save me to then improve on other body parts like my back. So for back, pretty much what I do is I'll do like a lat movement, I'll do 2 upper back movements, and then pull-ups. So that's been pretty much both back. So like one back day, I'll start with a single arm pull down. Like how like some gyms have the Nautilus piece. Like we don't at LCM yet, but we have. I do the cable, single arm cable pull down, and then on the other back day, I do a single arm cable row. So I'm just doing a single arm lat movement from different angles. Then I move into upper back work. Now my gym LCM that I train at has a shit ton of mega mass pieces for back. So basically I just pick 2 of those pieces for my inner upper back. And then on the other back day, I pick 2 different pieces. And then I finish with pull-ups on both those days. So like that is, believe it or not. And like I've done pullovers and I like pullovers, believe it or not. And I would do pullovers, but I have some like imbalances with my shoulders and my lats. That the reason I do what I do now is because I figured out movements that really help me. So if you think about it, I always start with a single arm lat movement because it really like helps posturize me and get my lats like warmed up individually. If it gets me like gets my shoulders like depressed, my lats pumped up, I feel good. Then I go into my first upper back movement, like a chest supported T-bar row, really brace work my upper back. Then I might move to another like upper back movement, like maybe a cable row or a different machine row for the upper back. Then I'll finish with pull-ups, working my lats again. And just it's getting a full stretch. It's a body weight movement. They're tough for me. Like I like them more than doing regular pull downs. So if you think about it, like I'm doing 2 movements for lats, 2 for upper back. I'm hitting that twice a week. That has helped my back fucking transform. Pulled every free weight movement I did for my back. No more barbell rows, no more dumbbell rows, no more T-bar rows. I only do chest supported and cable work for my back and pull-ups. Pull-ups. That's the only free weight movement I do, but it's body weight. Literally 3 sets. The failure at the end of both back sessions, single arm lat work, and then chest supported work for the inner upper back. And then yes, I do work rear delts with shoulders. So like I am hitting, so like if we're including more of the back, right? Like I do hit rear delts on like my push day, and I do hit rear delts on my shoulder arm day. And then I do hit like erectors with the stiff pulls or the RDLs that I do with hamstrings on that back day. And then also like, even though like in a leg press and the squat machine, you're supported, like your lower back is working a little bit. So like I'm getting the more lower back work there. The only thing I wouldn't say I'm getting is like direct, like upper trap work, but I don't think I necessarily need that right now. And if I do, I could literally throw that in. So that's a little bit about how I structure my back for my legs. I know that wasn't really rapid, but like that was yeah.
No, that helps a lot, man.
Yeah.
Andy Paredes asks, what are your best back training cues as you're doing that back day?
Yeah. Great question. So I think the biggest one for me, there's 2, which was getting deep enough in the stretch in the muscle. I think that full range of motion is crucial. And if you look at me and how I train, I was a hockey goalie. I'm really mobile and flexible. So that makes sense now when people see my training and they're like, how is he so fucking mobile and flexible? It's because I was a hockey goalie. They have to be mobile to be a hockey goalie, right? So a lot of that translated to like weightlifting. I think that full range of motion is key. And one thing I can tell you about the back, though, is as soon as you get out of the range of motion for some things, other things kick in. A great example, chest support T-bar row. If this is your back on the bench, right? And you're and as the weight's coming down and you keep it here and then you row, you're going to keep it in your upper back. But if you start to go like this to like stretch over the pad, you're going to erect a little bit and work like more your lower back to get the weight up in the momentum. You might not be working your upper back anymore. So like you overstretched into your lower back. So for me, it was learning what part am I training and how do I need to fully stretch that and only that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like for the lat, the same thing. Single arm pull down, like I can stretch a lot. But as soon as I start to feel like my shoulder and trap is shrugging, it's not in my lat anymore. And then when I go to pull down, that's why so many people, when you look at their pull downs, they're fucking pulling with their fucking shoulder. Cause like they don't know how to squeeze their lat. They know, like a lot of people think that their back is their traps and their rhomboids and their shoulders. A lot of people, that's why their lats suck. They don't know how to squeeze their lats and connect their lats. So if you think like a lot of these people, when they're going and they do this pull down, right? And they get up and they start to do this, and then they're trying to like pull it down with their shoulder versus what you need to do is fully stretch up, keep it in the lat, and then just down. Keep my, like, I can't shrug up. Like, I want to keep my lat stretched, if that makes sense. So, like, keeping it in the muscle is the best cue I can give you, because full range of motion is so key. And I think it's utterly important. But I also think that if you lose it and get outside, it might not be the best. Same thing if you don't have full range of motion, you don't stretch the muscle, you're not going to grow it the most. So like full range of motion in the muscle, that's my biggest tidbit for back growth.
Okay, I love that, man. That's something I still even have to improve. Sometimes I let that shoulder go up.
I've had to
It's
really
caused
work
me
on
some
it.
imbalances on my left side. So,
Yeah.
this last question for the Q&A, Divi Singh asked, "How does he keep his hair? Does he take any DHT blockers? What's the secret to the man bun?"
So the man bun. Man bun's actually a hockey thing. Obviously, hockey players love their long hair. That's something that's sticked around.
Not a pothead thing or anything.
Not a pot. Nope. No, I swear to God, actually, this is a hockey thing. Swear to God, because we call it lettuce. Like, yo, you
Yeah.
got some thick lettuce. That was a hockey thing. Swear to God, no, yeah, that was a hockey.
No, yeah, I know.
But no. So I would say that there's two things I've done consistently for the past, honestly, years. And then one of them is newer, where I think it's probably helping because I haven't seen digression, if that makes sense. What I mean by that is fish oil is something I've consistently taken. I don't know how much hair health benefit it does have, even though it says it can help promote it, but it's just something I noticed that I take consistently. I think that maybe those omegas can help with hair health. It would make sense. I'm not too sure. That is one. The other one is collagen. I've been consistently taking collagen for a long time. Long time. That's the truth. The third one is copper tripeptide, GHKCU. I think that has helped. That's the newer one, though.
Is it topical or injectable that you're taking, or both?
Injectable. So again, more systemically, that's why I'm saying I think, right? I mean, but
do you take
I'm looking here.
Do you take minoxidil or finasteride or no?
I don't, and I've never, hand to God. And I'll be honest with you, never, hand to God, bro. I used to take a lot of biotin. I took a lot of biotin, but I haven't taken biotin in a bit. I will say, man, just kind of going back and echoing back to like one of our earlier points here, and like I know we're finishing up here, so this I hope can really help the viewers. It's a systemic, all-encompassing impact. And what I mean by that is like you ask about like my hair health, but like we also talk about like how truly consistent I've been with everything. My water intake. And like someone's like, oh, your water is impacting your hair health. Like, I don't know. Maybe not. Like water is important. Like, could it? Like your sleep health, all the health stuffs I take care of. I'm looking at my citrus bergamot, my red yeast rice. I know it's for heart health, but like whatever, D3, K2, vitamin C, zinc, curcumin, magnesium, NAC, what else do I take? A cortisol blocker, a kidney product, like glutathione's in my fridge, like all my health peptides. Like my point is like, I think that like it all, like just, if you want to get something better, just improve everything.
Yeah.
Like improve everything. Like,
I agree.
Is this truly the best, So yeah.
I got one last question I ask everyone at the end of every podcast, but if you were to disappear from the world tomorrow and you had one message you could send to the entire world today, what would that message be?
Am I disappearing and everyone else stays? Like the world goes on. It's like my departing message.
Yeah.
I'm like, this message is like, they get to live with this or they're going to die as well. And that we're all dead. Like, this is important. It's like, because like, if it's that, I mean, I say I love you because we're all going to die. And that's that. Like, I love you. But like, if it's like something that like they get to live with and I get to impact them, then I'm going to take a second to think about this.
It's the second one.
Fuck. Wow. Treat everything importantly because it's not that important. It's very weird, but I just want people to like think about that for them.
Yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
Yeah. An honor.
That was awesome.
An honor. I really like, I know you're gonna kind of say your like little goodbye spiel thing here, but like it's an honor and a privilege to be on your podcast, man. Like I really appreciate what you're doing for the community that like I love so much of bodybuilding, health, and fitness, and you trying to like be such a good role model and influence and help people, bring on all these great guests you're having to kind of share their knowledge and background. I've learned a ton from listening to your podcast. It's helped me get through my cardio sessions. So like to be like to how do you ask me to like be on this and share a little bit about me? Like it's really humbling and an honor. And like I just want to say thank you. And I hope that your supporters can take some things and learn and help improve their life from this.
Hell yeah, brother. Thank you. Thanks, man. There's a lot more we could have talked about, but I'm trying to be better at this. So we'll have to catch up next time.
We will. Well, round two will
Round
two will come up in the future,
For sure.
Maybe after the shows I compete in.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about like your future and your plans, so we're gonna have to ask that next time.
We'll talk. We can talk off camera about that. I'm willing to talk to you off camera.
All right. Bet. Later, brother. Thanks, dude.
Take care, man. Thanks,
guys.
Bye.